Welcome, everybody, to the X Factor podcast. I am Coach Brew, riding shotgun with me in the vehicle, moving 100 miles an hour, is the strikingly handsome, insanely articulate Jon S. Rennie. And in the bottom square, if this were a vehicle actually moving 100 miles an hour, he'd either be strapped to the roof or jammed into the trunk with a gag wrapped around his mouth so he couldn't scream. And that's the DFE, Parker, our show producer. DFE stands for Director of Frickin' Everything. He does it all. If you see our Twitter account, he's tweeting. He sometimes tweets random things like, "What animal do you think you are?" And then we'll tweet a GIF of a panda bear every time. So if nothing else, he's predictable, and he's just bringing you, a little in this crazy, insane world.
Yes.
A little element of stability and consistency. He's something you can count on. He's our rock, and his real name is Parker. Hi, Parker.
Hey.
You call him a rock?
He's a rock. Like, he's a veritable Dwayne Johnson. Look at the kid.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, the tattoos.
He's also Amish, so there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They let him off the reservation or the compound or whatever it's called there in Lancaster. Jebediah might not even know he's missing at this point.
No, can't search.
Tell them you're going to a barn raising and you'd be right back.
Yep. Just ran as far as I could.
Because he's not allowed to travel in a motorized vehicle.
Right.
That's why he ran, like Forrest Gump. This episode of the X Factor podcast is brought to you by our friends at Bottom Gun Coffee. BottomGunCoffee.com is where you can go to get the greatest coffee known to man.
Yes.
Juan Valdez drinks Bottom Gun Coffee. That's how good it is.
It's very true.
Yeah. So go there, get some. It is a coffee made by submarine veterans, which is why they are so near and dear to Jon Rennie's heart.
Yes.
And do you sleep in Bottom Gun PJs every night, John? Do you love them that much? That's the rumor I heard.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I sleep in Bottom Gun Coffee underwear.
Well, lucky for us, we installed a periscope in your bedroom, and we're just going to prop it up there and take a look around and verify that.
Somehow raise scope in the bedroom. That seems like that's something wrong there. But
yep.
Yeah.
This episode
has already gone off the rails.
User-generated content.
Yes. User-generated.
When I say user-generated content, what I mean is one of our P1 listeners. If you're not familiar with the term P1, I'm going to have John explain it because, as I told you, he's insanely articulate. I'll have John explain that in a second. But one of our P1 listeners, Mr. James Elliott, shout out, no free shout outs, we're shouting out James Elliott.
Yes.
Sir James of Elliott submitted a suggestion for an X Factor topic.
Yes.
And he would love to take credit for it. I almost gave him credit for it, but it's really coming from his better half, Mrs. James Elliott.
Yes.
We do not know her name. She probably prefers to remain nameless on this show if she's smart, which I'm sure she is, because she married up and she married James.
Right.
She's probably remaining anonymous, but she suggested X Factor Disney princesses, which in theory you would think would be, John, the ultimate paradox. 3 handsome gentlemen,
yes,
who ooze masculinity.
Right, of course.
Discussing Disney princesses.
Yeah, I think this was
hang on, John. This wasn't so much like a suggested topic as it really was Mrs. James Elliott laying down the gauntlet, issuing us a challenge. I bet you guys can't pull this shit off.
Yes, this is what
I say, hold my beer, young lady.
Yeah, exactly. This would be what we call stump the chumps, from the old car talk days, that when they try to stump.
I'm triggered. I am triggered.
Yes, they're trying to stump us.
You
Trying to
said
give us a
Trump?
topic that we can't
You said
handle.
Trump on this show?
I know I didn't say Trump. I would never say
You said stump Trump?
stump the
I am
chumps.
triggered. I thought we got rid of mean tweets and Orange
did.
Man bad.
Replace that with $5 gas. You remember?
What'd you say then?
Stump the chumps.
Oh, chumps. Okay, I feel so much better now.
Chimps or whatever.
I'm in my safe space again.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just over here biding my time.
You too, huh? Well, yeah. So we've got Disney princesses. That should be interesting. But let me tell you what a P1 listener. You referenced a P1 listener. P1 is the top of the top, the top tier listeners that are listening to our show. They're engaging with our content. They're giving us ideas for different episodes. They're giving us feedback. They're making videos. They're sending us voicemails. These are the people that are actively engaged in our show. They're telling their friends about who we are. They're retweeting our shows. They're commenting on our social media. These are the top tier listeners that we have, and we want to encourage you to be a top tier listener as well. And the thing is, we don't.
Did your dog just open the door by herself?
Yeah. One of them did.
Jeez.
She probably is hungry because she's always hungry, and the other one is going to just sit there and stare at the door.
She's staring at the corner, actually, past the door. Anyway, I'm impressed. She opened the door and let herself out, and then here we have Parker, who isn't even housebroken yet.
I know, isn't that amazing? But we encourage everyone. It's not. How do I say this? It is an elite group, but everyone's welcome.
It's a great way to put it, man.
Yeah.
Even cougars. We have a lot of cougar listeners.
We have learned that we have a lot of cougar listeners as well. Yes, that's a whole category. That's I don't know what that is. We have the P1s and we have the cougars. They're separate.
A beautiful niche audience.
It is. Yeah. It's a niche. That's what it is. Yeah. So we were challenged with looking and talking about Disney princesses. And I have to admit it. I actually did my research last night. I watched a Disney movie last night to prepare for today's podcast. I do my research. This isn't just some run-of-the-mill podcast where it's a bunch of goofballs just talking about random subjects. We do our research. We do detailed research. For our fans, I actually sat through a Disney movie last night, a Disney princess movie, so that I could bring you content.
You did research?
Yeah, I did this time.
It's a whole new world, folks.
It is a whole new world.
See what I just did there?
I see what you just did there.
Yeah.
So the question is, who goes first?
Well, since you seem to be so enchanted, maybe you should go first.
All right. So I watched a show last night on the Disney Channel, and I will give you a little hint at what I watched.
When it was over, were you tangled ever after?
I was not, but...
You're so brave. I'm on a roll.
All right, that's what I watched.
The theme song from Cocktail with Tom Cruise and Elizabeth Shue, isn't it?
No, it's not. It is The Little Mermaid. I watched The Little Mermaid last night while I was drinking bourbon. It was the strangest experience, but I do the work for this show. So I want to tell you the reason why I chose The Little Mermaid and Ariel, who is the Disney princess, is that she is the only Disney princess who's actually a submarine.
Check, please. I'm out of here.
Seriously.
You're right. No, really, you're right. It's 2021.
Right.
She can identify as a warship.
But she's a submarine. She goes under the ocean. She's not just a warship. She's a submarine. How cool is that?
Solid work there, Pocahontas.
But technically, isn't she like a fish? Like half fish?
Well, see,
can she emerge from the surface when it's frozen?
Yes, exactly. So you are right on top of it. So let me tell you.
Ain't that Maleficent?
It's not the word, I don't think. But here's the deal.
Actually, you see what I'm doing here, folks?
I see what you're doing here, but let me tell you this. Did you know that the Little Mermaid is actually based on a Danish literary fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen? Did you know that?
Love Danishes. It's like a donut without the hole in the middle.
That's it, exactly. No, it's actually, this story goes way back. It's an old story, but Disney sort of remade it. In 1989, they released this film called The Little Mermaid, right? And if for those of you who don't know or haven't seen it, here's a little spoiler alert. It's the story of a mermaid princess named Ariel who dreams of becoming a human and falls in love with a human prince named Eric, which is such a great prince name, Prince Eric, which leads her to make a magic deal with the sea witch Ursula to become a human to be with him. So here's the deal. I watched this movie with a mindset of X Factor, and I wanted to see what sort of X Factor characteristics does Ariel have. She's a Disney princess, and my goodness, she is the ultimate entrepreneur. That's what
she sold her body for legs. She mortgaged her soul.
No, it's exactly right.
She's a prostitute. She sold her body.
Well,
become human and have legs.
Well,
hey, but listen, we're all
she sold her voice, but still,
John, we're all prostitutes. We just all sell a different part of ourselves.
Exactly. But the way she took a risk. But let me tell you a little bit about the film. It was a huge commercial success in 1989, 84 million domestic box office, an original release, 233 million overall gross. And here's the deal. Little Mermaid was given credit to breathing life back into Disney animated films because they had just struggled for a long time. They released this and it became...
there, folks. Mermaid breathing.
I'm bringing this all
to... The nuance is just...
incredible.
Incredible there.
Then this movie became the start of an era known as the Disney Renaissance. They came out with a bunch of different films after that, and they then eventually became very successful bringing these cartoon films back into the movie theaters. In fact, this won 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Score and Best Original Song, like I just played, Under the Sea. Was the very popular song from that movie. But here's some reasons why.
Though it wasn't even original. They stole the whole Little Mermaid concept from Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah's movie Splash.
Yeah, no, actually that came out before Little Mermaid.
So we're talking intellectual property theft here. Tom Hanks.
Oh, it's Hans Christian Andersen too. But again, Disney does it their Disney way. But let me tell you some characteristics of Ariel. So she didn't want to be a mermaid anymore. She was tired with the status quo. She wanted to do something different. She was a nonconformist, right? She was a rebel. And she also was headstrong. She was curious. And she didn't want to be normal. She didn't want to be a normal mermaid. How many entrepreneurs relate to that? They don't want to just have a 9-to-5 job. They don't want to just go to work, get a paycheck. They want to do something different. And everyone around Ariel tried to talk her out of it. They said, oh, you don't want to be a human. Humans are this, humans are that. You don't want to be part of that culture. But she didn't listen to them. She was stubborn and headstrong, and she had a goal. And she was willing to do whatever it took to reach that goal. She wanted to get to the land and grow legs and fall in love with a prince, right? She wanted to do something different. And the thing is, she was willing to sacrifice to make that happen. And that's the thing that is spoke to me as an entrepreneur, willing to sacrifice everything to be able to achieve your goals. Hold on, I'm gonna shut this door.
When you're talking about sacrificing things, John, and sacrificing everything and going from animal to human, both of your dogs walked out of your room.
I noticed that. Yeah.
You're talking about like they're like afraid you were going to sacrifice them.
Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't do that to them. They're
No.
they're too sweet. Yeah.
Can we
But
get back to the truth? Really,
sure.
the truth.
Yeah.
You chose Ariel for one reason, and this whole thing is a cover up for the
All
reason
right.
you
Go
chose
for it.
Ariel. You have a thing for redheads. You're like, oh, Ariel, she's a mermaid. She has a fin. She doesn't have legs. She's a submarine. No, she's a redhead, and you have a thing for redheads because they're crazy.
They are crazy, and
Like
no,
their wild side.
I don't have a thing for them, but I didn't even think she was a redhead. I just had to think about that.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Gilligan's Island? Remember watching Gilligan's Island as a kid?
All right,
Ginger or Marianne?
Yeah, Ginger. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, she was a redhead. Hell, you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be.
Maybe, just maybe. I'm spitballing here. It could be.
But, yeah, I mean, I look at my story as an entrepreneur. I didn't like working in corporate America. I didn't like the 9 to 5, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to leave, start my own business. And a lot of people tried to talk me out of it. A lot of people say, hey, small businesses fail. There's a lot of risk, and
you wanted legs, and you were willing to pay a price for a pair of legs.
Yeah. And so I did whatever it took to be able to become an entrepreneur. I took a lot of risks and I went there. This is Ariel. I mean, this is what Ariel did. Now let's talk a little bit about mermaids, right? Mermaids are, this thing that sailors apparently have seen for centuries, right?
Do you see any when you're in your submarine?
I did not see any
Did
mermaids.
any of your shipmates allege, of course you didn't see any UFOs down there. We learned that in the last episode.
No UFOs.
Episode 31 or 29, if you count like Parker. But John did a Reddit, Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
You can go back and find that at Reddit. It's awesome. But half of the questions were, did you see any UFOs underwater?
Yeah, it was all about UFOs. So
you didn't see UFOs. Did you guys see anything that vaguely resembled a mermaid?
I mean, we saw flying fish, dolphins, whales, but nothing that looked like a mermaid. And think about a mermaid. It's half what? It's supposed to be half woman, half fish.
Wait, but isn't there like male mermaids too, or no?
Well, in the cartoon, there are mermen and mermaids, mermans, men's, and mermaids.
There are all sorts of mer pronouns now, apparently.
Yeah. But in the stories of old, it's only been mermaids because typically it was only male sailors that would see these mermaids. But you think about it, they're half woman, half fish. And men supposedly are attracted to mermaids. But it seems like they got the wrong half. I don't know. Just typically they're portrayed as not wearing any. They're topless. If you ever see the old stories of mermaids, they're topless.
John, you're wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Turn around and show us the enormous topless mermaid tattoo on your back that you got.
I don't have one. But
now you're just lying to the public.
But what I'm saying is it's half fish, half woman, but they got the wrong half. I don't know. I just don't get it. But
one of 2 tattoos John has.
But
you know the other one, Parker?
The other one?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
Well, you're an employee of his. I should hope you haven't seen it. John has a W tattooed on each butt cheek. W. When he bends over, it says, wow. When he bends over upside down, it says, mom.
Oh, wow.
See, I am just a purveyor of truth on this podcast. I am the voice of reason. And meanwhile, you're a Navy veteran, tattooed Navy veteran pervert with a redhead fetish.
Yeah, I need to be let off this ride. I'm feeling Disney.
Jeez.
Yeah. That was the beauty, Parker. Usually you're a beast.
Yeah, we've taken this We've taken this great kids movie. We've made it the most disturbing discussion ever. But anyways, I think Ariel is she has the heart of an entrepreneur, and that's why I think she has the X factor. So there you go, Mrs. James Elliott. Hopefully I did it justice.
Way to wreck it there, Ralph. Way to wreck it.
Coach Brew, I hope that you can untangle what I just did.
Yeah, it's interesting. We might have to enter our candidates here for X Factor Disney princesses into the Princess Protection Program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is also a Disney movie.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure is. I mean, it ain't the Princess Diaries, but it is a Disney movie.
Okay.
So what you have shared with us is proof of my premise with this very subject. Sex sells.
Okay.
Sex sells.
Wait, these are kids' movies. I think.
Not so fast, my friend.
All right.
You're talking about topless mermaids that naval seamen witness underwater.
Yes.
Or you're not. And you got a thing for redheads. So the whole thing is proof of my premise, and that is that sex sells. And here is the Disney princess that I have chosen. Well, before I tell you who I chose, I will explain the why behind this. And I'll do that in the form of a little story. When my kids were 4 and 6 years old, respectively, we took them on their first trip to Walt Disney World. And Disney World, for an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur like you or me, you or I, whichever, however it goes, it's a marketer's dream to witness the customer experience and how they do what they do. Because right when you thought Disney couldn't extract any more money from your wallet and your bank account, they came up with this upsell. And when I say upsell, think about what they've already extracted from your bank account before we participated in this activity I'm about to share with you. We bought tickets to the park, a couple $100 each. We bought fast passes, upsell number 1.
Right.
To quote, save money, you should stay on property. You won't have any travel expenses, and you'll be right there. Upsell number 2, stay in one of the basically dorms. They aren't hotels. Let's call them what they are. Dorms, right? When you walk in the dorm, you're not in a lobby where you check in. You walk into a gift shop.
Right.
And then you check in. After you go on every single ride, what's at the end of the ride? A gift shop. They are experts at extracting money from your wallets. And when you stay in the dorm, you could eat, anywhere you want. You get takeout, you could do whatever, or they make it more advantageous for you to purchase a meal plan while you were there. I mean, it's like a week at college.
Yep.
Here's your tuition, your ticket, here's your room and board. Okay? And you just use your ID band to check in for all these different things. I mean, it's like the college kid with his key around his lanyard, around his lanyard on his neck. It's genius how they've done what they've done. It's next level what I'm about to share with you, as if all that other stuff wasn't next level. This is X Factor. They offer a Disney princess breakfast at the Magic Castle.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So for $250 a child, your kid can have breakfast and be photographed, and you got to pay extra for the picture with their favorite Disney princesses. They can eat with them, and the Disney princess kind of circulate around the room and talk to the kids.
Are they the real ones, like the
real people
princess?
Dressed up as each of the characters?
Wait. They're not even the real character? I mean, they're just somebody dressed up in a suit?
Actors dressed as Snow White, Belle,
Jasmine,
Cinderella, Jasmine, Pocahontas, all of them.
Mulan.
Yeah. So for $250 a kid, and then I think it's like $165 a parent. So they're extracting damn near $750 from a family of four like mine. Quick math, 500, 6, 7. Yeah, about $700 or $800 for breakfast. A breakfast that is maybe possibly the same breakfast you get in the dorm. Right. It's on like actual plates, not paper plates. There's actual silverware, not plastic sporks. Shout out to the inventor of the spork. So it's slightly better, maybe, in terms of like the setup, and you're paying for the access to the princesses. Now here is the most X factor of all the princesses. Jasmine from Aladdin? And here's why.
All right.
All the other princesses were very highly sought after by all the kids to be photographed with and to meet and get their autograph and ask questions and talk to and have breakfast with. Jasmine, who was scantily clad, every single dad at that breakfast in the castle wanted their picture with Jasmine, and arm around Jasmine, and she's like, "Oh, hey guy, my eyes are up here. Look at the camera, not my chest." Like she was, first of all, she is voluptuous. She's stacked, very fit. Like not wearing a whole lot of clothing, just like the Jasmine in the Aladdin movies. Anyway, all the guys couldn't take their eyes off of Jasmine. I'm sitting there with my wife. I'm like, "This is amazing." She's like, "What?" I said, "You remember the movie Toy Story?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "You know how, like, first of all, every parent takes their kid to Toy Story.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I got to suffer through this children's movie. And if you don't know Toy Story, like, there's adult humor in there. There are not like X-rated adult humor language, but there's like adult jokes. Like, was it where he slides down the chute into a litter box and he thinks they're toys. He's like, "Oh, hey, look, a sandbox with Lincoln Logs." And the other character looks at him and he's like, "Those aren't Lincoln Logs. There's a litter box of turds." Like, the kids don't know what Lincoln Logs are.
Right.
Adults played with Lincoln Logs as kids, and we know they landed in a pile of shit. So, like, this was kind of the live, in-person version of that. There was entertainment for the parents. The dads got to check out Jasmine. Some of the moms checked out Jasmine, looking at her in admiration. And some of the other moms are smacking their husbands upside the head for gawking at Jasmine or getting her picture or autograph. But my point is, it's brilliant marketing. It's appealing to a broader audience than just the kid at $250 a breakfast.
I can just see the family video of the dad who's filming their kids enjoying breakfast with all the different Disney princesses, and the camera kind of stands over and locks in on Jasmine. Yeah, I just for fun, I just said Jasmine character in Disney. I just looked up some photos. I don't remember ever seeing her at Disney, but yeah, I can see where this could be a distraction for the fathers in that room.
Yeah, and to what extent does sex sell? Something like 70%, 70 to 75% of all the internet's traffic is to porn sites. In 2019 alone, 42 billion visits, billion with a B, were paid to Pornhub.com. That's 115 million visits a day. And do you think more or less people during the quarantine of 2020 went to that site while they're locked up at home, right?
Yeah.
People, newsflash, hate to break it to you all, people are interested in sex. According to the Journal of Sex Research, men think about sex 19 times a day, while women think about sex 10 times a day. I would add this statistic. 99% of all men think about sex at least 19 times a day. The other 1% are lying.
Okay.
So, like, why not, if you're an advertiser, why not capitalize on such a popular interest?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Think
but
about like the Calvin Klein jeans commercials,
yeah.
the underwear commercials. Victoria's Secret created a whole fashion show because sex sells.
Has
They,
Jasmine has Jasmine ever come under fire for being, that sort of a sexy kind of like an unrealistic body image
I
or
don't
anything
think
like
so.
that?
I mean, part of that is that because she's not a white female.
Ah, okay.
Honestly, that's my take on it.
Because
Uh,
Barbie gets a lot of crap for being her.
Barbie's a blonde-haired white female. You
Good
know.
point. Good point.
Hashtag cancel Barbie. But but seriously, like we monetize eyeballs, and if you can get more eyeballs on your product because people are scantily clad, or there's a percentage of your audience that you need to find a way to keep engaged and not be miserable during a really expensive breakfast, you're gonna do that if you're a smart marketer like Disney is. And I believe that is why Jasmine was there, and that is why Jasmine was dressed the way she was.
But I wonder if you look at the Disney Princess breakfast ad. I'm just going to look it up.
You go.
If it puts her in the front row, I wonder if they. I wonder if they do
Don't
that.
we have a show producer to look this up for us, John?
Yeah, I thought we had a show
We're
producer.
not distracted. And sex was first used to sell products back in 1871, according to World Heritage Encyclopedia. If you don't know what encyclopedia is, kids, ask your grandparents. They'll tell you. It's like Wikipedia on a stone tablet. But the earliest form of using sex in advertising was by, go figure, a tobacco company called Pearl Tobacco. And the cigarette package displayed an image of a naked maiden. Not a mermaid, but close. A naked maiden.
Maiden. Okay.
Back in the 1800s, John.
Wow. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's just a natural instinct and natural curiosity for the sexes to go look at stuff. But I did find one photo of the, come to meeting the Disney princesses at a princess and pirate breakfast, and they have her in the back row. But she is prominently displayed in her scantily clad outfit, though. So,
and it works both ways. Like Dolce and Gabbana underwear, Calvin Klein men's underwear. Remember Marky Mark wearing nothing but those tight little boxer briefs on billboards all over America. So it's not gender specific; it's universal.
It is. No, it's Disney.
So, my question would be: is like, I wonder on like from a female's perspective on the male's side for Disney, like princes or kings or whatever, who would be like the
Gaston
and Prince Eric.
Yeah.
Eric. No, you're right. No, it's a good point. If you look at the Disney princes, they are all the same character, right? They're V-shaped, they're tall, they have
dark and handsome. Yep.
All flowing hair. They're
they're all very fit, very
right, and they don't realize how beautiful they are, which is like
us,
like the host of this show.
Yeah. So
all I could find online was it was the Cinderella one and I think like Sleeping Beauty or something like that, some sort of dinner, like Cinderella and Maleficent and all them. So
yeah, but what makes Jasmine the X factor is it brings in dads to spend money. Is that what your premise is?
In part, yeah. My point really is that sex sells, and finding, Disney she's just the vessel.
Okay.
Disney has used Jasmine as the vessel to engage a part of their audience that probably wouldn't be terribly engaged in that experience. And it's a premium price you're paying for that experience there.
Oh yeah.
Well, certainly, I would say this is that Disney really capitalized on this princess theme. They had Cinderella was the first princess in 1950. 1959 was Sleeping Beauty with Aurora, and then there was no other. There's 30 years before as I talked about, Little Mermaid came out in 1989. But then it was Little Mermaid 1989. Then it was Beauty and the Beast with Belle 1991. Jasmine with Aladdin, 1992, Pocahontas in 1995, Mulan in 1998. So they were just beating that princess drum like there's no tomorrow.
Not,
They found
not quite as much as the Rocky movies, but
no, but you can see that there is definitely a theme going on here where they just said, "Whoa, that really worked with Little Mermaid. Let's just keep banging that drum," and they did.
It's also a cartoon. They have toys and products. It's a brand within a brand.
Well, I think it was, they found something that appealed to the little girls, or in general, most girls, that they could look at this heroic figure or this, lead figure, and they could buy the toys, right? They had all the boy stuff, the Toy Story and the other, cartoons and things like that, and then they needed to have something the girls wanted to do. I know every time I'm at Disney, the girls are all wearing the dresses. The girls are dressed as the princesses walking around. They're probably paying $200 for those kids, Ariel costume or Belle costume or Mulan costume. So yeah. So it's
masters at extracting every last penny from your wallet.
They are masters at that. They really are. But they do provide a quality entertainment. I mean, you go to those parks, they're clean. They're you get family entertainment. You get a lot of experiences that your kids won't get anywhere else. That they come home and they like I had breakfast with Jasmine, and that's
boy did she have cleavage.
They know what that is, but yeah,
the dads do.
Yeah, the dads do. That's so. I wonder if that's a whole thing. If you look, can you find videos of dads getting caught filming Jasmine?
Oh,
character breakfasts.
I'll look that up.
Well, that's what our show producer is for, John. Get to work, Parker. I want to know this.
But
our audience wants to know this because sex sells.
But here's the deal: when you've got a formula that wins as a business leader, as a entrepreneur, you better hit that. You keep banging that drum. I mean, they figured it out. They went 89, 91, 92, 95, 98, all Disney princess movies because they saw that sold. That brought the audiences. That brought the merch. That brought the people into the parks. That bought all this stuff. It's crazy. I never noticed that it happened like that, but.
John, I will say this. I am shocked that you chose The Little Mermaid.
Why is that?
Because knowing your affinity for little people, midgets, can we call them midgets, or do we have to call them little people or dwarves? I'm amazed you didn't choose Snow White.
Yeah,
because literally, folks, let's rewind this. Let me explain. Last week when we were recording, we're talking about doing a listener trip with us.
Yes.
Record some live podcasts on the Bourbon Trail.
Yes.
And John came up with I'd call it a brilliant idea, but I'm just going to call it an idea.
Yeah.
That it'd be cool, his words, not mine, if we had our own midget that traveled with us. I suggested just like something very inclusive and politically correct, like a beer wench in a French maid costume. He suggested we have our own midget.
Right. But let me just...
You can see why my mind went to you choosing Snow White.
What is the theme of this podcast? Be different or be invisible. So what is more different than having a midget driver on a bourbon tour?
Having 7 of them. I mean, Snow White is next level compared to you. You want one. Right. She has greater ambitions than you, Jon Rennie.
Right. No, that's
you need to level up.
But I have to confess something that I am kind of creeped out by. Like I was like Oompa Loompas bothered me. I don't know. As a child, when I saw, what is it called? What was that movie?
Charlie and the Chocolate
Factory. And Chocolate Factory. Oompa Loompas always were scary to me. And I don't know that it was the fact that they were little, but they always taken little kids away. Like, I don't know. They just were scary creatures, and I never really cared for them all much. And what were the in the Wizard of Oz? What were the little guys there?
I
Those
don't
were
know.
kind of creepy too.
All I can tell you is if you Google image search "dads with Jasmine at Disney breakfast," you will
Yeah.
see exactly what I'm talking about.
So
So how dare you doubt me, listeners?
Are you serious?
so yeah.
Holy crap, am I serious?
So I was about to read this to y'all. So there's these Disney princesses, like the actors or whatever, that released a bunch of information. And one of the questions they were asked from this group, they were like, "Were you hit on a lot?" And this is what they had to reply with.
Jasmine was.
The One of the princesses says, "I was hit on as Pocahontas more than Mulan or Silver Mist, and it definitely has to do with the amount of clothing she's wearing."
Yep, see?
And then she went on to say, "I've never been touched inappropriately, but there's always the family that makes the grandpa or dad get a picture alone, and they'd whisper how pretty I was or ask when I got off of work. I'd get slipped the occasional phone number on a napkin, but nothing ridiculous has ever happened.
Oh my.
But it's probably," and then she goes on to say this. She says, "But it's probably a different story for the Princess Jasmines who are wearing just a bra and parachute pants."
Mm.
See?
That is a Disney princess actor or actress that is literally saying that about Princess Jasmine.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Jasmine sluts it up more than the other ones, is what you're saying?
Well, that's what that literally this lady online said that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can assure you, Jasmine was. She definitely went to the gym and worked out.
Yeah.
She was not out of shape. I didn't realize they were parachute pants. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I had a
didn't know.
pair of gray parachute pants as a kid in middle school.
Did you?
Yeah, I had gray parachute pants with all the zippers, made spiked hair parted down the middle,
Oh wow.
and one of those like velour long sleeve shirts.
Wow.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was
too legit.
Yeah, too legit to quit. Yeah. So that's our X Factor Disney princesses, and
I think we killed it. I don't. I think we were challenged, and I
Yeah.
think we came from the top rope, and we nailed it.
yeah, and if we can do that, John,
Yeah.
X Factor content,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can stump the chumps.
I don't think it's possible.
No,
Nobody can stop this train.
no. You hear that? It's barreling down the track straight at you.
Yep. You can't stop it. You can't stump us. You can't come up with a subject that we can't turn into a
Yeah, we're coming for you.
story. This is the content that people come for. Train noises.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but that's us, and we're a train, and we're coming.
Absolutely. We're coming to get you. You can't stump us.
Well, you can run,
Try
you can hide.
Go for it.
Yeah. So it is. I think we will have picked up a new P1 listener in Mrs. James Elliott after this episode,
Yes.
and we want to thank her from the right from the middle of our hearts, John,
Yeah.
for coming up with what she thought was going to melt our brains and twist our little brains into a pretzel.
Yep.
But we rose to the occasion. I salute you, John.
I salute
Cheers.
you too.
Parker, I salute you for your research efforts in the basically the fellow Disney peer-reviewed Yelp reviews of Jasmine and her wardrobe. And yeah, I'd love to see what other topics our listeners come up with for X Factor content. We've had X Factor food suggested, X Factor Disney princesses.
Yeah.
And James suggested X Factor YouTubers, which might, that'll prove to be, labor intensive for us to find a couple winners, but that's not some sort of mind melding kind of thing like princesses. Someone thought princesses might be. I do have to express my disappointment, John, that you didn't choose Snow White.
I didn't. I had to choose
You
the
went
only
the
princess.
low-hanging fruit of a fellow submariner.
I did. I took a submariner over an owner of Little People. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. I don't know if I can say that.
You just did,
I
and
know
we're
I can.
not editing it out.
I know
So
I can say this. That's what I know I can say, and I got that freaking song in my
probably
head.
his
I cannot
ringtone.
get that song out of my head.
Probably your ringtone, isn't it?
It is now.
Oh,
So yeah, how do you
God.
become a P1 listener? You tell all your friends, you rate, review, subscribe. You suggest X Factor show topics like the one we just covered in depth, in earnest, and
Yes.
get out of the park, I might add. And send us a message, thexfactorpodcast.com. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, where you not only get to hear our brilliance, you get to witness it live and in living color.
Yes.
And what else, John? What else do people need to know? Anything?
Well, if you want to support the show, you can go out and get some Bottom Gun coffee because they support this show. So go to bottomguncoffee.com, buy some coffee, you support the show. You can go to either one of our websites.
Ariel, I think Ariel's their mascot.
It is, yeah. And you can go to either one of our websites, which are located, the links are below as you're listening to this, but coachbrew.com or johnsrennie.com and buy one of our books. Coach Brew's got 13 books out there. I've got 2 books out there, one coming soon to be 3, but 2 books out there. Go purchase one of our books. You want to support the show and you want to learn something. You want to, we do have a serious side as well. So if you go to our website, you'll actually see a serious side to Coach Brew and I. But we come together to have a little bit of fun on this podcast. A little bit of fun. So,
I think we demonstrated our serious side
we do.
on this show. There's always a learning takeaway.
We do. Yes. There's always a learning.
And this one was very spiritual, philosophical, and humanitarian. And the learning takeaway is how can you be like Disney and extract every last red cent from your customer to the point where it hurts their credit card so long they have to rethink their Christmas gifts 8 months later.
Yeah. And that's brilliant. And not only that, you want to do it again next year.
If that isn't filled with love, I don't know what is.
It's incredible. We've covered Disney a lot on this podcast. If you listen, go back to other and listen in to other. We've had the greatest. What is it? The happiest place on earth, right? We covered that.
Yep.
Disney World. We've covered
Destinations.
We covered Disney and just Walt Disney in general as a leader and a visionary. So yeah, there's a lot of Disney in this because I think they have the X factor. They've figured it out. They're one of the brands out there that have figured out a way to extract money from people. They've done a miraculous job at it.
And it's a product, it's a service, it's an experience, and it's something you feel.
Yep.
Not a transaction.
Right. Something you feel.
Like this podcast. This is not a transaction. We haven't asked you to monetize this in any way.
Nope.
It's free.
We're just here for you.
Something you feel. Do you feel happier? Do you feel smarter as a result of witnessing this or listening to it? If so, tell all your friends. That's all I got for you.
That's it. Have a great night. Have a great day. Take care. We'll see you on the next episode of the X Factor podcast.
What he said.
Guys, are you tired of feeling sluggish and out of shape, falling behind the competition? Are you losing critical performance when and where it matters most? Well, I felt the same way before I started listening to the X Factor podcast. Now I have more energy, more stamina, and more success in the bedroom.